my goodness, folks, I need you to sit down for this one because what I'm about to share with you has left me absolutely speechless. We are potentially on the brink of the biggest royal scandal in modern history, and when this bomb drops, nothing will ever be the same again. The gilded image Prince Harry has carefully constructed since fleeing royal duty is about to face its most devastating collapse yet, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this could destroy everything the Sussexes have built in the past 4 years. Now, I know you guys are excited for more, but before we delve into further discussion, if you haven't subscribed, come on, guys, what are you waiting for? Hit like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell ASAP. So now, according to explosive insider leaks, investigative author Tom Bauer, who's written biographies of both King Charles and Meghan Markle, is sitting on a cache of unfiltered audio recordings. Yes, you heard that right. Hidden tapes, allegedly capturing Meghan Markle in private moments, making remarks so calculating, so unvarnished that they could shatter every crafted narrative she and Harry have sold the world. And buried in those tapes is reportedly the most explosive claim yet, something so shocking it makes all their previous controversies look like child's play. Now, Tom Bauer isn't some random internet gossip merchant. He is a serious investigative journalist with a reputation for meticulous research and bulletproof sourcing. When Tom Bauer publishes something, you can bet he's done his homework and has the receipts to back it up. His track record speaks for itself. His previous exposés have been packed with documented interviews, corroborated timelines, and paper trails that have made legal challenges almost impossible to pursue successfully. According to sources close to the publishing world, these records come from off the record conversations Meghan had with select Hollywood and media insiders. This wasn't Meghan in performance mode with perfect lighting and rehearsed responses. This was Meghan speaking candidly in casual yet high stakes settings private dinners, phone calls, even whispered side chats at industry events. These were moments where she thought the microphones were off, where she was speaking to people she trusted, assuming her words would never see daylight. And if Bauer really has these tapes, then someone in that circle betrayed her confidence, likely because the content was too explosive to bury. Think about that for a second. Someone whom Meghan trusted enough to speak freely around felt so disturbed by what they heard that they made recordings and passed them on to a journalist. That alone should tell you how serious this is. In the public eye, Meghan is this polished perfectionist, every hair in place, every sentence rehearsed for maximum relatability. But in these alleged tapes, that mask reportedly drops completely. What emerges is a voice unafraid to speak bluntly about what and who is useful to the Sussex brand. Insiders claim she talks in openly transactional terms, who can help them get better press, which partnerships are worth investing in, and which contracts have outlived their usefulness. It's the kind of behind the scenes candor that, once exposed, doesn't just hurt reputations, it destroys trust entirely. For years, critics have accused Meghan of being a master manipulator. These tapes, if genuine, wouldn't just confirm the accusation, they'd serve as Exhibit A in the court of public opinion. But here's where the story turns from simple image crisis to potential moral outrage. The phrase rented kids has long been dismissed by Harry and Meghan's defenders as vile online conspiracy theory. But according to those who claim to have heard the recordings, Meghan herself allegedly used similar language when discussing certain public appearances with Archie and Lilibet. Now, let me be clear, the suggestion isn't that she meant literal rentals. Rather, she reportedly described how bringing the children into specific media moments was good optics, brand strengthening, and perfect for the narrative. But in the court of public opinion, those distinctions won't matter the second the public believes you view your own children as PR props. The sympathy evaporates instantly. And for Harry, who built his new life on the promise of protecting his family from the very media exploitation he experienced as a child, that's not just a dent in his armor. It's a direct hit to the heart of his entire credibility. Even if Meghan was the one speaking, the real question everyone will ask is, what was Harry doing? Reports suggest he was present during at least some of his discussions, whether in the same room or on speakerphone. His lack of objection, his quiet chuckles, or even his complete absence during key strategy talks will be dissected ruthlessly. If these tapes go public, Harry's silence could be interpreted as complicity, and complicity is career ending when your entire rebrand is built on being principled rebel against the coldness of the royal machine. If the tapes show he knew about and condoned any language about optics with the children, it's game over for the loving, protective father image that's been in his shield since 2020. The Harry who told Oprah he was breaking the cycle of pain and suffering for his children would instantly become the Harry who stayed silent while his children were discussed as brand assets. That's not a narrative shift you can recover from. The fallout from these alleged recordings wouldn't be social, it could be legal. Any unguarded comments about contracts, business deals, or private negotiations could land the Sussexes in a breach of contract territory. If the tapes contain references to staged appearances, misleading narratives in docuseries, or misrepresented charity work, it could open the door to lawsuits from partners, sponsors, or even former associates. And while Meghan might weather the storm by claiming her words were taken out of context or were meant as humor, Harry has far less room for error. Why? Because in every legal PR crisis they've faced, Harry has positioned himself as the moral compass, the truth teller exposing the cruelty of others. If it turns out that behind closed doors he's laughed along or stayed silent while questionable strategies were discussed, the hypocrisy will be impossible to spin. For years, Buckingham Palace insiders have carefully tiptoed around the real reasons Harry and Meghan were mistrusted within the royal machine. They've alluded to things we cannot say and situations we had to manage internally, but the specifics were left unsaid. If these alleged tapes are real, that silence suddenly makes perfect sense. They would serve as retroactive justification for why the palace kept them at arm's length in decision making, why they weren't fully trusted with sensitive duties, and why innovations to key royal events seem so conditional. It's the nightmare scenario for Harry because if the palace can point to documented, unfiltered examples of Meghan and Harry discussing their children and brand in these alleged terms, they won't need to defend themselves. Public opinion will do it for them. The royal family would be instantly vindicated, and Harry would be exposed as having betrayed not just his family, but the very values he claimed to be fighting for. The Sussexes have built a $1 billion aspiration around their personal story, survivors of royal cruelty, champions of mental health, philanthropic innovators. But brands are only as strong as public belief, and belief is fragile. Corporate sponsors, streaming services, and charities have already burned once by the couple's unpredictability. These alleged recordings could send that cautious distance into full retreat. Imagine Netflix, Spotify, or Penguin Random House deciding they can no longer risk their investment. Imagine charitable partners quietly removing their names from collaborations. It wouldn't just be a slow erosion, it would be an immediate collapse. When your personal brand is your business, losing trust is like losing oxygen. You can't survive without it. Harry's emotional currency has always been tied to his image as a devoted husband and father. It's why the public forgave his brashness, his overposture, even the contradictions in his privacy narrative. But the moment the public believes you've turned your children into brand assets, the narrative flips from protective father to opportunistic player. And here's the cruel twist. Public outrage over children being used as PR tools is bipartisan, international, and instant. The Sussexes could face backlash not just from tabloids but from mainstream outlets, parenting groups, even former celebrity allies who wouldn't dare risk being tainted by association. This is more than bad press, it's reputational Chernobyl. If these tapes come out, there will be no context spin, no friendly press to reinterpret the meaning. It will be the raw audio laid bare for the world to hear. This is the part Harry might not fully grasp yet. If the tape comes out, there will be no olive branches, no quiet reconciliations, no secret Christmas invitations to Sandringham. The bridge back to the royal family won't just be burned, it'll be reduced to ash. The royals are masters at protecting the institution. If the public hears even a hint of these alleged rented kids discussions from Meghan's own mouth and believes Harry was complicit, they'll close ranks instantly. For Harry, it won't just mean exile from royal duties, it will mean exile from the family itself. And when the public sees a prince stripped of his title, prestige, abandoned by Hollywood allies, and distrusted by his own blood, well, the final act of the Sussex saga may not be a comeback story. It may be a cautionary tale about what happens when you sacrifice authenticity for image, when you trade family loyalty for Hollywood fame, when you build an empire on righteous indignation only to be exposed as engaging in the very behavior you condemned. The timing couldn't be worse for Harry and Meghan. They're already struggling with their media ventures. Their Spotify deal collapsed spectacularly, their Netflix output has been underwhelming, and public interest in their grievances has waned considerably. If these tapes drop now, when they're already vulnerable, the impact would be devastating. For Harry, who sacrificed everything for his new life with Meghan, his family relationships, his military connections, his royal birthright, this could be the moment he realizes the true cost of that decision. Not just what he left behind, but what he might have become in the process. As for Meghan, who has spent years carefully crafting her image as a philanthropist, feminist icon, and loving mother, these tapes could strip away that carefully constructed facade in an instant. All the magazine covers, all the carefully staged photo shoots, all the heartfelt interviews, rendered meaningless by her own unguarded words. The question now isn't just whether Bauer will release these alleged recordings. It's what Harry and Meghan are doing behind the scenes to prepare for this potential catastrophe. Are they reaching out to damage control experts? Are they preparing legal challenges? Are they trying to get ahead of the story by controlling the narrative? Or are they, as they've done so often before, simply hoping that their star power will be enough to weather the storm? If these allegations are true, that strategy won't work this time. There's a fundamental difference between being criticized by the press and being exposed by your own words. One you can fight, the other you can only survive. The coming weeks will determine not just the future of the Sussex brand, but Harry's place in history. Will he be remembered as the brave prince who escaped a toxic institution to protect his family, or as the fallen royal who abandoned his birthright only to become entangled in something equally as problematic? The tragedy in all this is that it didn't have to end this way. Harry and Meghan could have carved out a respected, independent role while maintaining family ties. They could have built a legacy of genuine philanthropy without the constant spotlight seeking. They could have protected their children's privacy by actually keeping them private, not by using them as strategics when it suits their narratives. Instead, if these tapes are real, they might have destroyed everything they claim to hold dear: family bonds, privacy, integrity, authenticity, in pursuit of fame and vindication. And that might be the greatest royal tragedy of all. Ta ta, and bye for now.